So, but yeah, so Edmund Fitzgerald, I think we're like the 29th anniversary. I think it went down in 1975. But Gordon Lightfoot made this song here. Essentially just a iron ore freighter that went down in Lake Superior just before it reached the Sault Ste. Marie locks. Everyone always, meme culture really loves this time of year, especially with the song and everything. So I figured I'd bring that to stream a little bit. It'd be a hoot and a half. But yeah, so in terms of other stuff that we're talking about today, nothing too crazy. We're probably going to get into the games here within a minute or two. Go ahead and pause the music here. But yeah, so where we left off, actually I wanted to tell you guys a little fun story. So yesterday we got our first snowfall in Michigan, and it was quite surprising. Honestly, it was a little earlier than I expected. So I had to do a few things, a couple of upkeep items on the farm. One of those was wintering my beehives. Essentially what that means is I take my couple of beehives. Of course, you guys seen beehives before. Let me show you kind of what I'm talking about. Go to images here. It's easy image to use. So let me see. Here we go. So let's switch over here. So obviously you've got your beehives here. I needed to get these inside, so I got them moved inside of my garage, got them sealed up. Of course, typically you're looking at the inside of a beehive like this. But I was moving those yesterday, and I got, for the first time, right, I've had bees since this past March, I got stung for the first time. So let me come back to the larger camera here. And if you look at my forearms, you can notice that this one here is just a little bit bigger in stature. I got stung right here. Entire forearm swelled up, but it hasn't been too bad. Hasn't been too bad at all. Got them moved in, got them wintered. So we should be able to have those guys come out next spring and give us another 3 gallons of honey. So it was a lot of fun being able to do that, and especially with bees. Bees are a lot of fun because if we come back here, bees are a lot of fun because they're a hoot and a half. I mean, I could go into my hive dressed like I am now. Only reason why they got mad at me yesterday was because I was, picking up their whole home and carrying it, which is about 80 pounds. About 100 pounds. It took me and a buddy of mine to move them. But, I mean, this is kind of what they look like. Mine are a little bit bigger because if you see in this image here, you've got, 2 or 3 boxes per hive. Both of mine are pretty large hives. They've got 4 boxes total. You got one big box, so that way the queen can go ahead and make more bees. And then you've got the other hives that are honey supers that allow you to get that delicious golden ichor that is honey. So yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of things to look into, and it's not hard, not very labor intensive. Just a little bit of checking in every couple of weeks, and then just probably about 12 hours it took us to harvest all of our honey. Throwing it into a little centrifuge, spinning it. You don't want to heat it up by any means. So we just ended up getting I think we ended up harvesting a total of 20 gallons. Anyways, another little story that we had happen. So I was scrolling on TikTok the other day and I saw this, let me see if I can find it. I was scrolling on TikTok the other day and I saw this short form video. Let me see. Here he is. Yes. Let me open this up on YouTube. This video has gone so viral recently. I think it showed up on my wife's timeline. It showed up on mine. Of course, I go to click on the actual link. Someone already got theirs taken down. Let me just do it this way. So that way it's a little bit easier to be seen here. Okay, we go to desktop. So I saw this video. Anyways, this guy goes on to describe the process of finding this owl. Obviously, he got inside his chicken coop and then ate one of his chickens. He was able to grab it and pull it out. I watched this video, and about 4 hours later, outside on my chicken coop, luckily I've got bird netting and everything's sealed up real nice and tight. I close everything up at nighttime so that way critters can't get in there. But one of those guys right there, and we'll pause it right here. Let this guy hit a little pose. Look back at the camera, owl. But the slow turn. Anyways, one of these guys showed up literally that night after seeing this video for the first time, and he struck the top of my chicken coop and ripped a hole through the bird netting, but wasn't able to get one of my chickens, had his foot stuck, and then knocked one of the chickens into the wall and onto the ground. I thought it was as good as dead, but she's making a recovery. She's good and healthy. But I get out there and I'm like, oh, cool. Maybe I can get a pet owl. I mean, they're federally protected, so I wouldn't actually keep it. But I would, went out there, saw him. I thought it was going to be like a skunk. It was more of my goats making a noise. They were screaming. So I thought, okay, well, let me go ahead here and, get the handgun, go out there, see what's going on, see what's afoot, see if there's a coyote getting after my goats. But nope, it was an owl, great horned owl. And talk about a wingspan, man. I mean, wider than my arm length. And again, 2-3 foot tall, just kind of like this guy's got, about the same size as this one here. So I'm like, all right, well, I gotta get my chickens moved. So I got them moved off of that roost where he was able to at least, bounce, stretch the netting enough to be able to come into contact with a chicken. Got that tightened up, got that buttoned up. They were all good for the rest of the night. But I go out there another hour and a half later, and that guy's sitting there inspecting my work. He's sitting there. He's like, let me see. Is there a hole that I can get into and be able to actually get after these chickens? So, just so to say, I just built a whole new chicken coop. I moved them inside the building that they're up against, and we haven't had any owl problems since. But it was just too funny not to tell you guys exactly how this video summoned an owl to my backyard. It was absolutely insane. I figured I had them in the area. I've got 2 red-tailed hawks that, sit in the back corner of my property. But they never really come up past any of my barns or anything like that. But the owl's been in and around the woods up to those barns. And I figure with me going in and taking out some red squirrels, my dog taking out a couple of groundhogs and stuff like that, we made the food scarcity is a little bit lower, or food scarcity is higher. Food abundance is a little bit lower. So I'm guessing they had to come up and check out the chickens because he thought they were going to be easy pickings, but he did not think, and honestly, I mean, most of the birds can't even see the bird netting that goes over top of their cage. So fun stuff, just country life things, a little bit of story time from the countryside. So